I was standing in the fellowship hall of St. Luke's Church when my stepdaughter said it out loud, clear as a bell, with her chin up and her eyes locked on mine. The greatest gift for my wedding, she said, would be if you disappeared from our family forever. The room went quiet. Folding chairs, white tablecloths, a half-empty tray of sugar cookies. I waited for my wife to laugh it off. I waited for her to say something. She did and single quotes T. Karen just nodded. That was the moment. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a small, ordinary nod that felt like a door closing somewhere deep inside my chest. Now let me back up a little. My name is Tom Gallagher. I was 56 years old that spring, living in Maple Grove, Minnesota. I'd been an electrician most of my life. 34 years of early mornings, cold basements, and hands that never quite stopped buzzing. Even when I tried to sleep, my knuckles were thick, my fingers half numb from years of crimping wires and tightening screws. Karen and I had been married 12 years. She came with a daughter, Emily, who was 16 when I met her. Her real father was long gone. I didn't try to replace him. I just showed up. School pickups, flat tires, driver's ed practice in the high school parking lot. I taught her how to parallel park in my old Ford F-150, my foot hovering over the brake, my voice calm, even when she hit the curb. She used to call me Tom, then Dad. Then somewhere along the line, she stopped calling me anything at all. The house we lived in sat on a quiet cul-de-sac. I bought it before the wedding, cash down payment from years of overtime. We filled it with memories. Birthday cakes, Christmas trees, arguments about curfews. I fixed the roof twice, replaced the furnace, planted the maple tree in the front yard that Emily used to climb until she was too tall. I never once asked for credit. I just did it because that's what you do when you're family, or at least when you think you are. The wedding planning had been going on for months. Emily was 28 now. She had a binder thicker than a phone book. Color swatches, seating charts, vendor lists. I paid the deposits. The venue, the photographer, the florist. I didn't complain. I wrote the checks and smiled. But that afternoon in the church hall, when she looked me dead in the eye and said those words, disappear forever, something shifted. Not rage, not even hurt. Exactly. Just clarity, like waking up from a long dream and realizing the house you've been building isn't yours anymore. I turned to Karen. 12 years of marriage, shared bank accounts, quiet Sunday mornings. I searched her face for something, anything. She nodded again, smaller this time, almost apologetic, but still a nod. All right, I said. My voice sounded strange in my own ears. Flat, final. All right. That night I packed a small duffel bag, jeans, work shirts, my toothbrush. I left the rest, family photos. The couch I'd fixed twice, the garage shelves I built with my own hands. Karen watched from the bedroom doorway. Tom, she said, like she might add something else, but she didn't. I left my house keys on the counter next to the wedding binder. I slept in my truck that first night, parked behind a Perkins off Highway 94. The smell of bacon grease drifted out every time the door opened. I I sat there with a cup of bad coffee, hands wrapped around it, staring at nothing disappear. They'd said, all right, I would. But disappearing didn't mean vanishing into thin air. It meant stepping out carefully and letting everything they leaned on feel the weight of that absence. The next morning, I went to the credit union. I sat down with a young teller named Maria and asked for a printout of every transaction from the joint account, going back 12 years. She looked at me strangely, but printed it. 217 pages. Mortgage payments, utility bills, Emily's braces, college tuition, car insurance when she got her license, the wedding, deposits I'd already made, every penny I had put in. I thanked Maria, took the stack to my truck. And started reading. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was just done. I drove to an old real estate office with a faded sign I'd passed 100 times. Dave was there, retired Navy, quiet guy. We sat in his office, coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. I told him I wanted to list the house. Quick sale, no contingencies. He raised an eyebrow. You sure, Tom? I nodded. He didn't ask why. He just started the paperwork. The for sale sign went up. 4 days later, white and red, quiet street. Neighbors noticed. Immediately, texts started coming in from Karen. What are you doing? Tom, this isn't funny. Emily called once, screaming. Then twice, crying. Then silence. I stayed in a cheap motel off the interstate. 1 bed, 1 chair, 1 small window that looked out on a parking lot. I ate microwave dinners, watched the news. Thought about the maple tree I planted. Wondered if anyone would water it after I was gone. The offer came in 10 days later. Cash. Above. Asking. I accepted. No haggling. No drama. Just a signature. The sale closed on a Tuesday morning. I remember the sound the pen made when I signed the last page. A soft scratch. Nothing dramatic. Dave slid the papers toward me, tapped the corner into a neat stack, and said, "That's it. That's it. 12 years of mortgage payments, 12 winters of shoveling, 12 summers of mowing that lawn while Emily sat on the porch scrolling her phone, asking if I'd seen her sunglasses. Gone. I walked out of the title office into a parking lot full of ordinary cars. A minivan honked somewhere. A man argued with his phone. Life kept moving, unaware that something I built was officially no longer mine. I left a binder on the empty kitchen counter before the new owners took possession. 3-ring, black. Inside, every receipt, every bank statement, every cancelled check. Itemized. Dated. Total. At the bottom in red ink, $387,640. The amount I had quietly carried for 12 years. I didn't leave a note. I didn't need to. The numbers spoke louder than any words I could have written. The wedding was postponed. Then cancelled. The venue refunded half. The caterer kept the deposit. The band played anyway for someone else's reception. Emily's fiancé Mark called me once. Late at night. Voice shaking. What the hell is this binder? I told him the truth. Quietly. He hung up. 2 weeks later they broke up. Karen came to see me one last time. She stood in the doorway of my rented one-bedroom. "You've made your point," she said. "I wish you'd fought harder." I looked at her. Really looked. "I did," I said, quietly, "for years. Now I'm at peace. I bought a small place 2 counties over. 1 story. No stairs. A yard big. Enough for a dog I haven't gotten yet. I plant flowers. Now. Not for anyone else. Just because I like the way they look when the sun hits them. They asked me to disappear. What they never understood was this: when you push someone out who's been holding everything together, you don't just lose them. You lose the weight they carried in silence. If this story stirred something in you, if you've ever felt unseen, taken for granted, or quietly erased, know this: you're not alone. Sometimes the strongest response isn't shouting back. Sometimes it's choosing yourself.